You didn't land here by accident. Something guided you. A whisper inside that told you to press play. A quiet pull that said stay right here because something in this message has been waiting for you. Maybe you've been feeling the energy shifting around you. Things that once made sense don't anymore. Patterns repeating, signs appearing. And even if you can't explain it, you can feel it. The sense that something is approaching, something that feels like relief, like arrival, like alignment. You're not alone in this. Every soul that reaches a breaking point is standing right at the doorway of transformation. It doesn't always look graceful. It doesn't always feel clear, but clarity is already forming. The confusion, the waiting, the pressure you've been carrying, it isn't a punishment, it's movement. It's evidence that energy is rearranging itself for your next chapter. Have you noticed how certain things have started to fall away? Old connections fading. Routines you once depended on now feel empty. It's not coincidence. You're being realigned. Life clears space before it fills it. Sometimes the release feels painful because the human mind wants control. It wants to understand every step. But your higher self is guiding a process the mind can't fully comprehend. What looks like loss is actually preparation. Think back over the last few weeks. Have you noticed strange timing? Random conversations that carried unexpected meaning? Or small coincidences that seem to echo what you've been thinking about? Those moments are not random. They're signals that your field is shifting. When your frequency rises, the outer world starts to mirror that movement. You meet people who carry new information. You encounter stories that confirm your next direction. You sense the unseen arranging itself on your behalf. Most people miss this because they expect transformation to look dramatic. But it rarely starts that way. It begins subtly, in the feeling of being stretched between who you've been and who you're becoming. In the discomfort of realizing old ways of thinking no longer fit. That tension you've been feeling, it's growth in disguise. It's the energy of expansion pressing against the limits of your old identity. When life feels tight, when everything seems to close in at once, it's often the moment before the opening. The universe operates in patterns. It builds pressure before release, just like the ocean pulls back before a wave, just like night deepens before dawn. When you feel the intensity rise, it's not a sign you're failing. It's a signal that momentum is gathering. Right now you might be standing in that in-between, the waiting space, the place where nothing seems to move, yet everything beneath the surface is shifting. This is where your internal work matters most. Your thoughts are shaping what comes next. The energy you hold becomes the blueprint for what appears in your world. That's the essence of quantum manifestation. Not forcing outcomes, but aligning your frequency with what you desire until the universe can't help but reflect it back. You've been doing that already, even if you didn't know it. Every time you chose to believe in possibility instead of fear, you adjusted your vibration. Every time you chose gratitude over panic, you tuned your signal. Every small act of hope sent a message through the field saying, I am ready, and that readiness is being heard. The truth is your reality responds to you in every moment, not to what you want, but to what you're being. The field mirrors your state of consciousness. When you're anxious, it amplifies uncertainty. When you're peaceful, it organizes around your calm. You don't have to control everything externally. You only have to master the energy you're emitting. That's the real shift. That's where your miracle begins. So if life feels unsettled, if your plans keep unraveling, take a breath. The unraveling is evidence of new structure forming. Nothing is being destroyed without reason. You're being prepared to hold more, and holding more requires releasing what cannot sustain the weight of your expansion. You've probably felt like you're at your limit before. Like something inside is asking, how much longer can I keep doing this? But what if that question isn't a cry of defeat, but the call of a new self trying to emerge? Growth doesn't ask for permission. It calls you through discomfort. It stretches your capacity until you see that what once felt impossible is now natural. And right before every major breakthrough, reality tends to magnify pressure. Things appear chaotic. The timing feels off. Emotions rise to the surface. But that's not the end of the story. It's the alignment point. It's where everything starts to converge. The truth is, you've already shifted more than you realize. The very fact that you're listening to this now means you've tuned into a frequency that matches what's waiting for you. You didn't have to chase it. It found you. Because energy meets energy. You attract clarity by becoming clear. You attract peace by choosing calm. You attract miracles by expecting them. And as you keep holding that vibration, you'll notice something begin to happen. The fear starts to lose its grip. The noise quiets. The next step becomes visible, not through logic, but through knowing. That quiet inner certainty is your navigation system turning on. It's the universe whispering, keep going, you're close. So if you've been asking for a sign, this is it. This message, this moment, this pull inside your chest, it's confirmation that your next level is approaching. The version of you that's been waiting to emerge is already forming. All that's left is to keep your energy aligned long enough for the visible world to catch up. And it will, because what's meant for you is already in motion. It's not coming from outside of you. It's coming through you. The energy that creates worlds is the same energy breathing through your lungs right now. The same force that moves galaxies is the one moving your life into alignment. You're not separate from it. You're part of it. This is your reminder. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're in transition. The space between endings and beginnings. The place where miracles start taking form. So stay present. Stay aware. The shift is already underway. And this video didn't find you by accident. It found you right before your miracle. Everything feels heavier right before it gets lighter. That's how the shift works. Life doesn't test you to punish you. It stretches you to prepare you. The pressure isn't proof that you're off course. It's confirmation that energy is building. You might have noticed lately how things have intensified. Situations that used to be easy now demand more of you. Emotions rise out of nowhere. The world feels louder. The timing feels strange. But this is what happens right before alignment locks in. The universe amplifies everything, so you can finally see what's been running beneath the surface. The triggers, the patterns, the beliefs that used to hide quietly in the background. They surface now because they can't come with you into the next version of yourself. They're asking to be acknowledged and released. So if you've been questioning everything lately, if you've felt confused, emotional, uncertain, that's not regression. That's purification. The old frequency is clearing out. It's uncomfortable because you're feeling yourself detach from what once defined you. The stories, the limitations, the expectations, they're dissolving. And the empty space that follows can feel unfamiliar. But that space is sacred. That's where creation begins. Think about it. Every new reality starts with emptiness, a blank canvas, a silent pause. The seed before the sprout, the pause before the song. You're in that pause now, the in-between where you can't quite see what's forming, but you can feel it moving. You can sense the next chapter calling your name, and maybe right now it doesn't make sense. Maybe your plans fell apart. Maybe the people you relied on drifted away. Maybe what used to motivate you no longer does. But that's not failure. That's reorganization. Life rearranges itself when your frequency rises. It's matching you to what fits the new version of your energy. This is where faith becomes more than a concept. It becomes a practice. Because faith isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about trusting that something intelligent is at work, even when your human eyes can't see it yet. It's about believing that every detour still leads to destiny. You've probably felt it before. That moment when you thought everything was collapsing, but later realized it was a redirection. Something unseen was guiding you the entire time. The conversation that changed your path. The opportunity that appeared out of nowhere. The timing that made no sense then, but perfect sense now. That's how alignment often reveals itself, after the storm clears. But this time you're being invited to trust it during the storm. To know that even as things shake, you're safe. Even as uncertainty rises, you're guided. Because the field is responding to your belief, not your fear. When you hold belief steady, reality stabilizes around you. At the quantum level, energy doesn't just move randomly, it follows attention. Whatever you focus on expands. That's not wishful thinking, it's physics. Consciousness collapses potential into form. And when you hold focus on peace, possibility, and gratitude, those frequencies become visible in your experience. So when life feels chaotic, pause, breathe. Remind yourself that chaos is often order in disguise. It's the invisible aligning before it becomes visible. It's your energy being recalibrated. And if you can stay steady through that recalibration, you'll notice the clues start to appear. Small things first. Coincidences, familiar numbers, a word or phrase that repeats itself. People who show up at the perfect time. Most ignore those signs because they expect the universe to shout. But guidance rarely shouts. It whispers, it nudges, it repeats. It shows up gently until you recognize it. And once you do, everything changes, because awareness amplifies frequency. The moment you acknowledge the sign, you strengthen its signal. It might be as simple as a feeling, a quiet knowing that something is shifting, an inner calm that doesn't match your circumstances. That's how alignment begins. Peace first, evidence later. The internal shift always comes before the external proof. That's why trying to fix everything outside of you often doesn't work. You can't rearrange energy from the surface. You shift it from within. You change your frequency first, and reality adjusts itself in response. When you understand that, you stop chasing and start allowing. You stop grasping and start trusting. You move from control to cooperation with the field. And in that cooperation, things begin to move differently. Doors that were stuck open, opportunities that seemed distant appear, relationships realign. Even your body feels lighter, because resistance has dropped. The energy that once leaked through fear now circulates through trust. This is where you start to see how personal growth and quantum manifestation are one process, not two. Growth expands your capacity to hold new energy. Manifestation is that energy taking visible form. You can't separate them. Every internal expansion eventually shows itself externally. So when you're asked to stretch, when life feels heavy, when emotions rise, know what's really happening. You're being expanded to hold the reality you asked for. That's why it feels like so much, because you're preparing for so much more. And here's something most people never realize. The moment before your breakthrough often looks like contradiction. Everything that could go wrong seems to go wrong. Timelines shift, doors close, and yet inside there's a strange calm. Oh, knowing that says don't quit now. That calm is not denial. It's truth. It's your higher self reminding you that the old structure is collapsing so the new one can form. Think of it like the tide. The water pulls back before it surges forward. The retreat isn't loss. It's preparation for momentum. That's where you are. The pullback, the tension, the build-up before the flow returns stronger than ever. If you can see this moment not as punishment, but as preparation, you'll stop fighting it. You'll start flowing with it. You'll understand that the universe isn't trying to break you down. It's trying to align you up, and in that understanding, peace will find you. Because peace doesn't come from perfect conditions. It comes from perfect trust. The kind of trust that knows everything that falls away, makes space for what's already on its way. So let this be your reminder tonight. The pressure isn't the problem. It's the proof. It means something is building. Something beautiful. Something aligned. You're not being pulled apart. You're being pulled forward. This is your sign to hold your frequency steady. The storm will pass. The light is closer than you think. And when it breaks through, you'll realize it wasn't arriving from somewhere else. It was rising from within you the entire time. You start to notice it quietly at first. The shift. The subtle calm that doesn't match what's happening around you. The world still moves fast. Situations still unfold. But something in you feels different, still unbothered. It's not indifference. It's knowing. The kind that doesn't need proof anymore. That calm is the signal that alignment is near. It's the space between effort and evidence. The moment when your energy has finally caught up with your intention, you're no longer chasing what's coming. You're attracting it, without forcing, without grasping. Just being, you might catch yourself worrying less, doubting less, reacting less. Not because you don't care, but because you finally understand that what's meant for you can't miss you. The urgency fades. The fear softens. The timeline stops feeling like pressure. You realize time isn't running out. It's rearranging itself around your readiness, and that readiness feels different than you expected. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. When you stop trying to control how and when things unfold, energy can finally flow. Resistance dissolves. Life starts responding faster because you're no longer sending mixed signals. That's the essence of quantum manifestation, not magic, not luck. Alignment, frequency, coherence. Every thought, every emotion, every action becomes synchronized. And once your vibration stabilizes, reality adjusts automatically. Science calls it observation collapse. The moment consciousness interacts with possibility, potential becomes form. But this isn't just theory. It's happening inside you every day. Each time you hold a vision long enough without contradicting it, you help that possibility solidify into matter. It's not about thinking positive all the time. It's about staying energetically consistent. You can't expect abundance while embodying scarcity. You can't expect clarity while rehearsing confusion. The field matches what you broadcast, not what you wish. So the more you embody the frequency of what you desire, the faster it finds expression. Not through force, but through resonance. That's why calm matters more than control. Calm is coherence, and coherence is creation. You might notice that people respond differently to you now. Conversations flow easier. Opportunities surface naturally. Even challenges feel lighter because you meet them from a higher frequency. You've stopped operating from fear and started living from alignment. It's subtle at first, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. The connection between your state and your reality becomes clear. You realize life was never random. It was responsive, always mirroring what you carried within. And now that you're aware, you start to choose differently. You pause before reacting. You breathe before speaking. You notice the energy behind your words. You understand that every moment is a transmission. Every thought sends a signal. Every feeling writes code into the field. This awareness changes everything. Because now you know the power was never outside of you. You were never waiting for permission. You were learning to remember who you are. Conscious energy in human form. A field of creation dressed as a person. Once you see that, you stop asking if it's possible. You start asking how deeply you can align, how fully you can trust, how consistently you can hold the vibration of what's already yours. Because that's what determines the speed of manifestation. Not effort. Not luck, frequency. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to fake high vibration. You don't have to pretend everything's perfect. You just have to stop arguing against your desire. Stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. Stop returning to the old identity that doesn't fit you anymore. The old you lived in reaction. The new you lives in awareness. The old you waited for proof. The new you understands that proof follows energy. You're no longer trying to survive your reality. You're shaping it consciously. And the more you live from that space, the more effortless it feels. Things align on their own. People show up at the right moment. Conversations open doors you didn't even knock on. That's not coincidence. That's coherence in motion. But here's something else most people miss. Once alignment begins, the old frequency might still echo for a while. Don't mistake the echo for regression. It's just energy completing its cycle. Let it pass. Don't chase it. Don't analyze it. Just keep your focus on where you're going, because the universe doesn't test you. It reflects you. Every time an old pattern reappears, it's not to pull you back, it's to show you how far you've come. You respond differently now. You choose peace over panic. You hold vision over fear. That's mastery. And as you keep choosing that, reality starts to feel lighter. You stop trying to make things happen and start allowing them to unfold. You realize manifestation isn't about control. It's about coherence. It's the dance between your frequency and the field. The more you trust the rhythm, the more naturally life flows. You begin to understand why things had to happen the way they did. The delays, the detours, the endings. They weren't punishment. They were calibration. You had to grow into the version of yourself that could hold what you were asking for. Because manifestation without expansion isn't sustainable. Now you're ready to sustain it. The old foundation has cleared. The internal alignment is stable. The field is matching your new frequency. You can feel it. Not as excitement, but as peace. The peace that says it's already done. And that's the quiet truth behind every miracle. It doesn't arrive with noise. It arrives with calm. The energy settles. The mind softens. The heart opens. And the moment you stop needing it to happen, it does. That's how creation feels when it's pure, effortless, natural, familiar. Because deep down, you've always known this power was yours. You just needed to remember how to use it consciously. You're remembering now. The awareness is becoming embodied. The vibration is steady. The field is responding. This is where miracles begin to materialize, not from desperation but from alignment. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't look for signs. Be the sign. Don't chase outcomes. Embody them. Don't ask when. Just know that it's already unfolding. Because the moment you feel that truth fully, reality has no choice but to catch up. This is where everything begins to connect. The patterns, the lessons, the timing. You start to see that none of it was random. Every delay had direction. Every ending made room. Every emotion was guiding you back to yourself, and now you're standing in the energy of arrival. It might not look dramatic. It might not look how you pictured it, but you can feel it. The stillness, the certainty, the quiet awareness that something within you has clicked into place. You're no longer chasing alignment. You are alignment. You've become the frequency you used to seek. And when that happens, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself around you. That's when doors open effortlessly. That's when people, opportunities, and outcomes begin to orbit your peace instead of your pressure. This is the part no one tells you about, the peace after the storm. The calm after the climb. The moment where you realize manifestation was never about creating something new. It was about remembering who you already were. The universe wasn't holding anything back. It was waiting for you to remember your power to receive it. And now that you remember, everything changes. You speak differently. You move differently. You stop trying to prove your worth because you finally understand it's infinite. You stop trying to earn love because you are the vibration of love itself. You stop searching for signs because you've become the sign. That's the point of this journey. Not to escape the human experience, but to live it consciously. To move through contrast without losing connection. To hold awareness in the middle of the noise. To walk through uncertainty and still choose trust. That's mastery. Not control, but surrender. Not perfection, but presence. And as you hold that energy, your life begins to ripple outward. Your frequency touches others. You speak peace and people feel lighter. You walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts. You've become a transmitter of calm. A mirror for possibility. That's how collective change begins, through individuals who remember. When one person anchors light, it multiplies. Awareness spreads through connection. Your alignment becomes permission for others to align. That's the unseen ripple of awakening. It doesn't happen all at once. It unfolds through each conscious moment, each act of love, each choice to rise instead of react. So when you wonder if you're doing enough, remember this. Your energy is the work. Every time you choose peace, you contribute to healing. Every time you forgive, you release density from the field. Every time you believe again after disappointment, you expand what's possible for everyone. That's how powerful you are. Creation doesn't separate you from the universe. It expresses through you. You are not small within the cosmos. You are the cosmos remembering itself through human form. The same intelligence that moves stars moves through your breath. The same rhythm that keeps planets in orbit keeps your heart beating. You are not a fragment of the divine. You are its full expression, experiencing itself as you. When you live from that truth, life becomes less about seeking and more about allowing. Less about control and more about coherence. You realize the universe isn't something outside you. It's something you are in conversation with. Every thought is language. Every emotion is feedback. Every synchronicity is a reply. And those replies are coming faster now because you're listening differently. You no longer chase signs, you recognize them. You no longer force clarity. You wait for it to arrive naturally. You trust timing because you finally understand that time bends around alignment. The right things don't need to be chased. They arrive when you're ready to receive them. That's where you are now, ready, aligned, present. You've stepped beyond hoping and into knowing. And that knowing carries power. It's magnetic. It's stable. It's the frequency of creation itself. You'll notice how calm it feels here. Not empty but full. Not quiet but alive. It's the feeling of being in sync with everything. The understanding that you don't have to make things happen. You just have to stay open enough to let them unfold. That openness is your miracle. It's the space where potential becomes real. It's the point where energy turns into experience. It's where you stop asking when will it happen and start saying it's already happening, and it is. Even now, the evidence is catching up. The outer world is rearranging itself to mirror your new vibration. You might not see all of it yet, but you can feel it. The movement, the warmth, the certainty. That's the universe saying yes, so breathe. Let it in, let this moment be your proof. You've already crossed the threshold. You've already shifted timelines. You've already become the version of yourself you've been waiting to meet. Everything that's coming next isn't separate from you. It's the reflection of your current alignment. The peace, the clarity, the strength, the flow. You built this energy. You called it in, and now it's here. This is what it feels like right before the miracle becomes visible, calm, grounded. Sure, you've stopped searching for the moment because you've realized you are the moment, and from here, life will start to unfold differently, more naturally, more gracefully. You'll make choices that align effortlessly. You'll attract what matches your frequency without strain. You'll look back and realize every detour was divine choreography. That's the gift of awareness. That's the power of alignment. That's the truth of creation. And as you keep walking forward, remember, the same force that brought you here isn't done yet. It's still moving, still guiding, still expanding through you, so trust it. Trust the timing. Trust the unfolding. Because the miracle isn't on the way anymore. It's already here. And this video found you right before you realized it.